Welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk about something different from the past videos I've been making when I'm in China. I want to talk about the relationship between art and dating patterns in the old China. So today it was a beautiful sunny afternoon. I was on my rented bike going across the old town. It was this beautiful hutong area, and all those buildings, they have hundreds of years of history. I'm no historian myself. I don't know too much about the traditional antiquity, the buildings, the culture. So I was just trying to find some kind of cultural reference for my future art projects, and was going across the town. And suddenly I saw this Hutong art museum and I was interested. So I stopped and I went inside and I saw a group of people. They were gathering at the front gate and with an old lady with a stick pointing at different parts of the door. And I was all curious, and I went and I heard something that was completely shocking to me. That I heard basically that in the old times in China, the person you will marry and spend the rest of your lives with really depended on one thing. It depended on the art on the doors. And I was like, what do you mean art on the doors? And I realized that ever since I was little, that I heard that people say you should marry someone who is your 门当户对, which in the European terms, it would be something like you should marry your equals. And I knew this because it was kind of no-brainer, because in the old times in China, in Europe, in America, people married for sharing strategic resources, and it was merely just a merger and acquisition. It was not about love. That's why you have Romeo and Juliet's story, and Romeo and Juliet's social class did not match and their families were against their marriage. So they had to, chase for their freedom in other ways. And ever since I was little, I knew that it's 门当户对, but I didn't know that what it meant. I thought 门当户对 meant literally matching doors, that it had to be down the street in the same neighborhood, or perhaps the same size of the doors means the same size of the house. That means you're marrying someone in more or less the same financial situation as you do. But then I did not realize that 门当户对 had a much more cultural reference than a financial one. The lady told us that 门当 and 户对 was the art in front of the doors. For example, this little lions, usually that was in front of the house, and also the beams, the way that it was decorated. In the old times, you could not decorate the way you want. There were social norms that you must follow, but within the social norms, you could have some kind of artistic freedom, that you could have this, variations of ways to decorate your front door, your gate, so that you can show your personality, you can show, let's say, your lifestyle. It was all shown through the decoration of your door. In the old times, men and women did not meet and date on their own. Everything had to be done through the matchmakers. And there were some professional matchmakers, and there were some, let's say, just family members, a granny, an auntie, a cousin. And then these matchmakers would just go across the city, everywhere, and they would see the front of the door, and they would say, okay, I think my lady would like this family. They would knock on the door and introduce themselves, and they would see inside the interior design, the works of art on the walls, and also the furnitures, perhaps the tea they were drinking, so they could see the personality through the arts and decorations. And in the old times, they did not ask, how much money do you have? That would be considered rude, not like today. Today, if you ask, how much money do you make, it's totally normal. And you would ask, what cars do you drive? How big is your house? What is your bank account balance? And it would consider to be normal today, but in the old times, no. And then two families would meet and they would exchange gifts, and then they would discuss on the wedding details. On the wedding day, this man and the woman, the husband and wife, they would meet for the first time in their lives, and then they would mate, and they would reproduce and make families. And perhaps my ancestors did that in the past. I'm not sure, because as a woman, woman's family will not have the family tree, and I did not know much about. Also, personally, I was rejecting that because I thought it was something to be changed. Today, art plays a totally different role in people's lives, and it's more like a fast-moving consumer products. For example, you could see in an aromatic product brand, the slogan is the art of breathing. And I was like, the art of breathing? And in the water brand, it's the art of drinking water. I mean, art is everywhere and is so commonly used, and it meant so little. And perhaps we still use art to judge in terms of choosing a dating partner, but it had a different twist. For example, girlfriends of mine told me that she broke up with her boyfriend. So I asked her, what was the reason that you broke up with your boyfriend? And she told me, oh, several reasons, but one reason is that I never liked his music anyway. And I was like, what do you mean that you didn't like his music? She was a lawyer, he was a carpenter, and perhaps there was a social class conflict. And I'm not sure really the situation, but it could be. And what she meant when she said that she didn't like the music that he was listening, and perhaps he liked rock and roll and rap and pop, and she liked classical music, and perhaps it meant that the upbringing was different, the tastes, the financial situation, and a whole variety of different things. But she chose to use the example of art. Perhaps you could use different types of art to filter your dates, because obviously you don't have too much time if you're busy, you don't want to waste your time going to the wrong people. So perhaps you can just, on your Tinder profile, instead of saying must be fun, loving, humorous, you could just say must love types of art, so that you are filtering some kind of people that definitely not your type. And if you are too shy to say that he must make X amount of money every year, you don't want to say that, at least you could say it more subtle, like the old Chinese way, you must decorate your house with these types of art, or you must love classical music. And this way you might find people who share some common interests as you do. Okay, so this is what I've learned today. I found it very interesting. That's why I want to share this with you. And perhaps tomorrow I will just go back to more serious topics. And thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in knowing more about art and how to work and sell your art as an artist, click on the subscription. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.